As many lectures on TED will tell you, bicycle can save the world. Bicycling in cities can save the cities, and while doing so, they will save the planet, because most of us now live in cities, and in just a few years' time, 75% of the humankind will live in cities. And this is a first for us Earthlings. And some people in some cities think that even though it works for Copenhagen and Amsterdam, that it won't work for their city. Well, Reykjavík is here to prove them wrong, because Reykjavík wasn't a cycling city at all, but we have changed all that in just a few years' time. So, putting Reykjavík on the map, just for you that don't know Reykjavík quite well, I mean, we're in the middle of the Atlantic. It's a strange place to be in, especially if you want to become a cycling city. We are right where the red dot is, and when you zoom into the capital area, you can see that Reykjavík is on that peninsula, and it's quite scattered around. We have a short history, actually, as a city or as a metropolitan area. In the year 1800, there were only 600 inhabitants here. That moved quickly up, so it became 10 times that in 1900. And in the year 2000, we had over 100,000 here, and in the greater metropolitan area now, we have around 200,000 people living here. So it's a relative size of a small American city that no one has ever heard of. So Reykjavík used to be quite dense before the automobile. This is an old map of Reykjavík that you can see there, and at the time, we had bicycle going on. We didn't have any bicycle infrastructure, but we basically didn't have cars, so we rode the bike. What happened in the next decades was that we got a car, and like every other city, especially in the US, we sprawled. So this is the same area that used to be Reykjavík, but now we have all the surrounding areas, the suburbs, which are quite good here in Reykjavík and Iceland, but still half the people live there, and they are not as likely to bicycle as the others are that live closer to where most things are, cultural and jobs and stuff like that. So this ties into what happened next. We started buying loads of cars. So this is cars in Iceland per 1,000 inhabitants. This is, as you can see, as soon as the car came after the war, it was a big boom. It slowed down a little bit in the early 90s when we had a minor crisis going on here, but then it went up again. So comparing to other cities in the world, we are by far the biggest car nation there is. I mean, it depends on how you measure it, but by some standards, we are the biggest car nation in the world. It wasn't always like this, so you can see that in '95 we were there. I mean, we still probably were the world champions, but we were not as far ahead as the other cities. So, in my opinion, this can be reversed if we want to. Trips made by bicycle in 2001. I don't know if you can see it, but there is a line there. It's a red line. So if I zoom in, you can see that it is just under 1%. So this is all trips made in Reykjavík, and those are the ones made by bicycles. So bicycling was basically non-existent in 2001. So this is where we come from. And we had this before all the automobile craze, but then we got this afterwards. So which one do you like better? In my opinion, I like the first picture better. We have more green areas. We have more people moving around by their own energy. We have less obesity and so on. So we wanted to turn this around. I mean, the artists were one of the first to recognize this problem. So they started drawing pictures like those, telling us that this had become a real problem. Some activists, like the people at the Association for Car-Free Lifestyle, did this Icelandic version of that world-famous picture, showing how much space different methods of traveling take up. So this is car versus bus versus bicycles, and you can just imagine how what the noise is in the car picture, how much money it will take to fix this street every 2 or 3 years, while the other options are not as expensive. So the turnaround came with Green Steps for Reykjavík in 2007. We proposed 10 green steps to turn things around, and one of the biggest was a new master plan for bicycling. We called it the Bicycle City of Reykjavík, which at that time was a lie, but we decided that we could do it anyway. So we made a plan. The plan was quite specific, and we thought, okay, if we get all of the city council to agree upon this, we can do this. And every single person in the city council agreed upon this, and this has been followed ever since. So our goal is to increase the bicycle paths or bicycle lanes in Reykjavík many times over, and we have started that. The big projects are these two, maybe. It's two really big, really expensive projects, infrastructure projects for people of Reykjavík and the municipalities around to get to work on bicycle. So one is 8.5 kilometers long, the other is like 5 kilometers long, and those two have been the biggest projects and have been very successful. Other smaller projects, you can see those two right there. Other smaller projects are more urban. So this is Hverfisgata, downtown Reykjavík. It's much less space that you have there. So you can't do a special bike lane beside the road. So you will have to work with what you have there. What we did in Reykjavík, we made experiments. We started by painting, taking loads of green paint and just painting a bike lane on the street. It was controversial. It's a trial and error thing. We learned how to do things, what was a mistake and what could be done better. So after a summer of experimenting that, we started to do real work on the infrastructure. We heated the sidewalks and the bicycle paths, and now we have, at least in parts of this street, we have a wonderful bicycle lane that is quite well used right now. It hasn't, as you can see, we're still finishing it up, but the whole street will be like that, and that is the first very urban, dense street that has this infrastructure. So, and we had many other smaller things that we did. Those are all just things that have happened after the green steps were introduced. This is a bicycle counter that counts how many bikes go past that every day and every month. We have really big and beautiful, in my opinion, bridges that are only for pedestrians and bicycle riders. We wanted to have it like a statement that would signal that we are serious about the bicycle infrastructure. And then you have other projects. I mean, sweeping the bicycle lanes is very important. Snow mowing the bicycle lanes before even some of the streets for cars is also very important. And other experimental projects and real infrastructure projects. All of this is just in the last 4 years. We have multiplied bicycle lanes. You can see the red one is 2006 and the blue one is last summer. This isn't an easy task to do. This is politically controversial. Many people think that if you put emphasis on that you will not put emphasis on the car. They see it even as a war against the car, which I don't, but I mean they're entitled to their opinions on that. What has happened after all of this is that people have started to bicycle. So this is the project called Cycle to Work, which is all around Europe. People take 1 week where the people working together form a team and they cycle to work. Hjóla í vinnuna, we call it here. And you can see how the numbers multiplied. Maybe we have reached some sort of a peak, but you can see how it went up from 2003. We have other measures. We basically sit outside and we count cyclists. This is just the numbers for like 2 cycleways or cycle paths we have in Reykjavík. So the numbers don't matter, it's just the relative numbers. And as you can see, it has more than doubled since 2009. And other measures as well. We do a big survey, or Gallup does a big survey for the city of Reykjavík. It was done in 2001 and then again 10 years later. And that is the one that I showed you in the beginning. And this is the numbers 10 years later. And you can see that it has grown. Actually, it's grown around 1,000% if you measure it that way. And we are really proud of that because that number being almost 5%, it's not the people that bicycle, because there are many more than 5% that bicycle, but this is trips made by bicycle out of all trips done in the city. And this is more than almost any city in the US has, and this is a respectable number for European cities. And as a result, maybe, or you can debate what is the cause and what is the result, we are also driving less. As you can see right there, this is also a number taken from the Office of Transport and Environment at the City of Reykjavík. People drive less in Reykjavík now. Obviously, the economic crisis plays into this. We had a big crash here in 2008, where driving became relatively more expensive. I mean, gas prices went up, and people started looking into every krona they had to spend. So lots of people started using the buses. They started taking to their bikes and walking to work, and trying to, when maybe one of the cars, because most homes here have 2 cars, when one of the cars broke down, they didn't maybe buy a new one immediately. And when their child became 17, they didn't go out and buy the car immediately as they might have done before. So obviously that plays into this. But the funny thing is that I'm often asked abroad if the financial crisis was good or bad for bicycling in Iceland. And the funny thing is it was both. Because we never would have gotten the money to do the big projects if we would have asked for them in the middle of the crisis. But we asked for them when we thought we were the richest nation in the world. And so I could come to the mayor and I could propose those green steps, and he was like, yeah, well, we have shitloads of money, it's no problem. So we got on doing that. But when the crisis came, everyone decided that at these turbulent times, this was not the time to cut back on those funds, so that everyone would have to use their car, which is a really expensive mode of transport. So we tried to keep the fundings into the bicycle lanes and also the bus system. So this is the future. We just finished a new master plan for Reykjavík, where bicycle paths are a really big part of that plan. This is supposed to go on until 2030, and it's a very bold plan. It's a plan about how the city of Reykjavík will change, will go somewhat back to its roots of having many modes of traveling. Densification is a big part of this, because we know that people are more likely to bicycle when it's not a long way to go to work or to wherever you're going. So the goals there are to go from where we were in 2001, which was 1%, up to 8% in 2030, which is a pretty good number. And we don't think it's we're stretching too far. I think we can reach this goal, and if we do, bicycling has become a really important mode of transport for Reykjavík. And just to end, I mean, if we can do this here, everyone can do that, and while doing that, while making their city a good bicycling city, they're also saving the planet while they're at it. Thank you very much.